This is episode 64 of the Super Parent Syndrome, and I'm your host, Dr. Nick Fanning. Today's episode is What Are You Doing When You Are Alone? Sit back, relax, let's get into the topic.
Parenting in the 21st century is ever evolving, and while you balance work, kids, and your sanity, it's easy to feel discouraged. Welcome to the Super Parent Syndrome with your host, Dr. Nick Fanning.
Okay, we have a blizzard today, and because of this blizzard was rolling in, my wife took our kids to Colorado and to see her sister because it's not going to blizzard there, but it's going to be blizzarding here. And I was thinking, like, okay, this is an excellent opportunity for me to still like adjust a few clients, but then also get a lot of those projects done that I've been putting off, just because I've been wanting to spend more time with the family, and some of these low priority projects have been getting down. And I was like, this is a perfect opportunity for what I call beast mode weekend. We're going to go through, we're going to tear things up, we're going to get caught up, we're going to get moving ahead so I can work on the business. And therefore, I can actually get get my head above water, so to speak. But at the same time, all great plans have these things that kind of get them off target, I guess. So what I'm dealing with is that there's power coming on and off. The wind is blowing a crazy amount. And actually, at the moment, I have no internet, which means that because I have no internet, I can't go online and pay bills. I can't do my bookkeeping. Can't even watch crappy Netflix. Uh, I can't do any kind of social marketing or things like that. Well, I can certainly record a podcast, which is really nice. So I can record this podcast, and it'll probably be playing on Sunday or Monday. But at the same time, things are shoveled around. Things are a little bit different, and I was not quite prepared for this level of chaos within the storm, which is funny because we talk about first world problems. The fact is that I'm in a warm house. I have heat. Even if the power shuts down, it's gas heat, and I really have nothing to worry about. I'm safe. I'm warm, and this storm could pass by. So at the worst case scenario, I might have to go to bed around 8 o'clock because there's no light and I can't read by no light. Otherwise, life is going to just carry on just fine. I may not be able to watch crappy Netflix, things like that, but at the same time, nothing really changes. But here's the whole point of this podcast and today's message is that I have nobody here keeping me accountable. I have nobody here to make sure I do certain things. I have nothing going on. I'm just here all by myself, and I'm left to my own demise. So, when I talk about, what do you do when nobody's watching? That's what character really is. I think it was Howard Brown. Howard Brown was quoted as that character is what we do when no one is watching. I can tell you this, that years ago, this would be a weekend filled with crappy food, lots of watching either playing video games, watching movies, pornography, just basic, not getting anything done. You know what I mean? Staying up too late, getting up too way early, eating crappy food over and over again, and by the end of the weekend, I'd be hungover. And here's the thing: I'm not doing illicit drugs. I'm not drinking hard alcohol. I don't smoke. But at the same time, these things are still taking away from the experience of life. And that was certainly part of the old self. New self isn't interested in that. Yeah, there's times where the old self is just to be like, hey, you know what? It's been a few weeks, what would be the harm of, looking at some pornography? And at the same time, I have to say no, I don't want that. I don't choose that. I want something better. I want something more. I want all that energy going directly toward my wife. Same thing with food. It's like, you know what? And this is the time where your crunchy wife isn't here to make sure that you're eating good quality food. You could have some of the old stuff you enjoyed. You could have pizza rolls, which, by the way, babe, I definitely did not have pizza rolls, just so you know. The fact I even have to say that is hilarious. But at the same time, we grow, we try to push, and we try to go past that. Yeah, that was part of my life in the past. Is it part of it now? No, but it's a conscious choice. It's a celebration of another step. So that way I can use this time, no internet and sometimes no power and stuff like that, to actually do something that might actually contribute to my life and contribute to yours, such as running a podcast like this, such as reading a few books that I've had lined up, maybe watching a documentary I have saved on my laptop, or even on my tablet. I have a couple books I could read as well too. But the point is this: who are you? Who are you truly when there's nobody else around? Meaning you have total freedom and expression of yourself. And do you even like that person? Or, unfortunately, we even have a secondary problem with some people identifying so hard as a parent that when their kids are around, they have no idea who they even are or what they could do. Or if they were given a day off, what would be some of the things that they would do for them? Not for their family, for them. And we're in a society that just promotes such a hard dedication to our kids or to our jobs or to whatever you might identify as, other than yourself, that it's hard for us to step away from all the distractions, all the noise, and actually sit down and say, okay, this is who I am. When there's nothing left to do, this is what I'm going to do with my time, with my efforts, and my energy. It's a hard contemplation, folks, and for some have never even done that. So the question, the action step that I have for you is, if no one is around, if you had no obligations for anybody else other than your own for a whole day or 2 days, what would you do with that? Like, honestly, what would you do? So, like, let's say husband and wife comes in and be like, hey, you get the weekend, I'm taking the kids and taking off. And, honestly, you're not supposed to do any work. Okay, well, what do I do then? Are you a golfer? Are you a hunter? Are you going to the lake? Are you going to go exercise? Here's my plan, folks. I have a perfectly good gym in my basement. I'm going to do some freaking working out. I'm going to hit the heavy bag. Ideally I want to download an episode of some Brazilian jiu-jitsu online because I am like an hour away from the nearest dojo. So I've committed to doing some online training, which seems ridiculous because it is. I wish I had a partner. I'm also going to do some podcasting, and I'm going to do some reading and some journaling. So that's what I'm going to do with it. And actually something that was really kind of pissing me off at first, not having internet, has now become such a blessing. And it's also, I get to celebrate the new version of me because I know what the old version would have done. And I'm sure that by the end of the weekend, I would have showed up exhausted. My family would have come back. I would have been crabby. I would be low energy. And they'd be stepping into a hornet's nest. And instead, they're going to get the dad they deserve. So, folks, your homework is set. Who are you when no one else is watching? Dr. Nick, signing off.
Thanks for listening to another episode of The Super Parent Syndrome. Please be sure to visit peptalksforparents.com for more content and our free newsletter. And remember, you are not alone.